Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Virtek and Chibi Bree are back from their latest adventure.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Golden Feather. This is episode 30. Winter is coming. And today
we have with us BCG, the big cheek giant, Lord of Salt, White Knight Nemesis, and Defender of Heels.
Sorry, I just couldn't keep it.
I couldn't keep the face straight. For those who don't know, a heel, by the way, is a term in professional wrestling. It's the bad guy who's there specifically to make the good guys look good.
Wait, you mean he's not on the healer cleric side? And here I was all excited.
Right?
I think I would be on the other side of that spectrum.
We missed you too, Z. Welcome back. I'm so glad to see you today. For those of you who are just joining us or joining us back, be expected to join us on Saturdays, every other Saturday, or like second and fourth, but right now it's every other, around 5 p.m. PST with our guests. Because, you know, work is going well. It's a little stressful. I was actually doing work while preparing for the stream today, and I'll be doing work right after, so yay. But yes, hello.
Joy.
Winter is coming because, as Virtek remarks, the new cosmetics look very, very Jon Snowish. And I was almost gonna say, I wanted to name this title, You Know Nothing, BCG.
You know nothing, BCG. We figured that people might not get the reference and that would just seem rude.
Probably not.
So.
Yeah, like, I was just like, let's not.
But yeah, they straight up made a Jon Snow cosmetic and a giant effing wolf-drawn sleigh. I mean, how much more of a reference to Game of Thrones could you possibly make?
Let me actually pull this up while you guys are talking about that. Oh my gosh, and yes, I'm a lover of huskies. Z, I'm right there with you. And the caribou.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed they didn't do anything with Hodor.
Right.
Hodor. I was so sad when I found that one out, though. I was just like, oh.
I was forever behind it because all the memes and the jokes and everything came out about that, and I didn't watch that episode for like another 3 weeks afterwards.
Right.
So I almost got spoiled on it.
Oh no.
You're crazy.
I was too terrified. Oh wait, that's not even the right thing. I was trying to pull up the thing, but there's another thing highlighted, which is not the link I'm looking for. Where the heck is it?
This is not the link you're looking for.
Yeah, this is not the link you're looking for.
But,
I really like the little husky pet.
Yeah, I like the husky.
Yeah.
I like the wolf-drawn sleigh. I'm into wolves a lot. But
yeah, it almost looked like a rune type dog thing with the little design on his forehead.
I like the eyes.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Korra. Like, maybe we should paint Korra to look more like these things.
There you go.
That would look
BCG
cute.
looks like a monk, by the way. He says.
Let me fix
Monktastic. Monk of Salt?
Uh-oh.
Or Lord of Monk?
The Lord of Monk.
Lord of Monk.
What are you pulling up? The link for the
I'm actually
salty monk. There
not
you
the
go.
link. Salty monk.
Hey,
I look
Reckless.
like a warlock. Alright?
Oh,
There we go.
Poison. Holy moly.
Here we are.
Wow, man. How have you been?
Poisons. Whoa. All the old friends and fams. There we go.
Throwback.
Hey, Poison.
So I was gonna say this, I don't know if it's a freehold or what, but this looks like a winter edition, whereas last month's looked like a good fall edition for the Golden Feather Tavern.
Yeah, if you look in like really close to that one, you can see there's like a lot of like the little like Christmassy mistletoe and whatnot coming down from the chimney all the way down the one side. It spills all the way down. Like
maybe the boots are boots of icy step.
What I'm wondering with this stuff is, you know, this is winter themed.
Yeah.
And if the freehold is also winter themed, can you maybe change the weather within your freehold?
That would be grand.
That would be cool. But like, I
That'd
want
be
it to be
nifty, like-
Christmas all the time.
Because that would be really cool. Because like in WildStar, in the housing system of WildStar, you could change the weather, the ground, and everything.
You said the
WildStar
magic
had
word.
the greatest housing system ever. WildStar was fantastic.
Yeah, Virtek
That would be cool if you walk to a node and you pass like a winter freehold, a summer freehold, like a Halloween theme freehold. That would be cool.
Let me just say, the
Yeah.
caribou with the bells is my favorite.
Yeah.
Nothing screams winter and Christmassy feeling like bells.
I
and
wonder if it'll be a
winters.
gliding mount. Because like magical flying reindeer.
Yeah, I see where you're going with
like
that
a gliding
one.
mount.
But the little pet, it kind of I think they took, and this is kind of funny because Cora, I think, well, we think Cora might be the what's that word, albino version of a Australian Shepherd, but Australian Shepherds are known to have like that interesting spotty texture and the two colored eyes. In fact, her brother was very much looking like a normal Australian Shepherd, and she's like white with a little bit of pink on her.
a very tiny little mini Australian Shepherd. But yeah, she's like straight albino. Like that's all there is to it. Like super pink everything. Like her eyes are like the super clouded out, like super blue, super pale blue.
He's a White Walker.
I love dogs.
Yeah, White Walker pup. White Walker pup.
But maybe one of these days when she behaves and doesn't bark or try to chew on me, I might bring her onto the stream so you guys can meet her. But yeah, so these cosmetics look really interesting. I am actually caught between a rock and a hard place because now I want all of the cosmetics, and I believe Virtek posted something like that on Twitter, not Twitch, as well. Yeah, want them all for sure.
But I was gonna say, before we dig into BCG's stuff and start talking about him, the other part why Winter is Coming is such a dandy title for today's episode. For those who have or have not been following Granthor and his story, it came to a conclusion of chapter 1 on the forums as of the 1st. So just about a week ago, chapter 1 has ended. For those who have not been following it, you should. It's actually a pretty good inventive and creative story. I liked it.
We would like to say that this is one of our fan focuses for today. We can't say Fan Focus Friday anymore because it's now Saturday, but
yeah, it's Saturday now. But he's definitely looking for more input on people who are actually reading it to see if he should do a chapter 2. So if you do like it, definitely stop by, definitely drop a comment and let him know that it's appreciated and people are enjoying reading it.
Maybe
I enjoy it. I enjoy it very much.
I was actually considering eventually maybe bringing back story time, because like if you guys know my name title in Ashes of Creation, at one point the people in the Discord were like, storyteller Chibi Bree, because I would take some of the stuff and like read it out as if I was like telling this.
Ooh, how neat would that be if we got some people from the community to sit down with us and have a voice chat and we'd read through it?
Oh, you want to get Truth Eternal for that?
Yes, Truth Eternal and a couple of other RPers that I know, and I've been meaning to get on the show anyway, so hey, maybe when we reach 200 followers we can do something like that.
Yeah, Granthor can give us a story, we'll all read through it.
Yeah.
I dig it. It's an idea.
Which, by the way, thank you guys so much for the support, because we are very close to 200 followers on
We're right there. But anywho, on to you. The BCG, Lord of Salt, White Knight Nemesis, and Defender of Heels.
Tell us. Do that every single time.
I want to great face. I want to be like, yes, I am the but I can't. It sounds so good. White Knight Nemesis. I'm making a T-shirt with that now.
You should put your logo on it and like White Knight Nemesis.
Don't put that idea into my head. Have a T-shirt made by next week.
So, you've been doing a few things. You've been busy since you come back. Oh well, thank you. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the tavern.
I thought I followed you before, but apparently I didn't. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
That feeling is mutual.
What we did. Yeah, it's exactly what we did on Twitter. We were like, I thought we were following him already. Oh, guess not. Whoops. Now we are.
Hey.
So you want me to talk about myself?
Yes.
Yeah, just some idea on on what you've been up to lately, what you're looking to do, continuing forward, anything you have plans to do?
Not dying in that costume.
Yeah, the costume was kind of warm, even though it's minus like 5 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever. What am I doing? I'm still doing the discussion round every 2 weeks, which earlier this year didn't go so well, and that's why I took a break. I came back and had a couple ideas for a couple of projects, but they didn't really take off. But they're still open to anybody that wants to do like a one-on-one interview. That's still open to anyone. I still do the guild fair. If there's any guild that wants to do a promotional video, I'm happy to help out. And besides that, I'm the local salt guy. Let's put it that way. I'm the local salt guy for the Ashes of Creation community. and it describes it pretty well.
Whoa. What chip?
Oh, hey.
Ooh.
OMG, so sorry I'm late. It's okay, Wood Chip, but thank you so much for...
Thank you, Wood Chip. I love you.
Wood Chip.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, thanks for
so
popping
sweet.
in. Thanks for the resub and all that. Holy moly. Always the hero. Always the hero.
Thanks for the... Oh. There you go. I don't know. It says thanks for the haha 20, so...
Haha 20?
Oh, 2020. It's for the New Year's thing. Aww.
Oh.
9 months
Let's
in a row.
see.
Thank you so much, Woodchip. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Lore, right? We want all the lore.
All of it.
We need more. We need way more lore.
Steven, give us
I need
the
to go
lore
back and
already,
read it
dang
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to go back and read everything that we have so far, like in one sitting, to sit down and have it all in one burst.
I think Virtek has made it his life goal to eventually increase his standing to the $10,000 backer so that he can get his hands on that lore book.
Oh, man. Yeah. I hope
Life
this
goal.
new job I'm looking at pays off really well, and that they don't take away the ability to upgrade to that in the next 2 years when I'll maybe be able to upgrade.
When I can finally afford it, right?
Yeah, exactly. But anywho, so what if you don't mind tossing out, what social medias are you on, and do you keep up with one more than others? So if someone wants to actually follow your projects and whatnot, they can dig up more stuff in one area?
I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and I think that's it.
What's your Twitch thing?
Twitch, okay, wait. YouTube is the Big Cheek Giant. Twitch is BC Giant. Twitter is BC Giant, and Instagram is the Big Cheek Giant. I'm not good with naming things. I'm not good. When I came up with that name, I was like 15. I was like, okay, I got big cheeks. I'm pretty much 3 feet taller than anybody in my friend group. So I'm like, I'm tall, I'm a giant, I got big cheeks, done.
The end.
Hey, to be fair, I did the same thing. I'm Chibi Bree because I'm 4'10", so I'm like really small, and my name is Bree, so did the same exact thing as you did.
Easy names.
Right.
Oi. But yeah, so speaking of social medias and other projects and whatnot, there was recently a podcast with Reckless that you were on.
Oh, we want to go in there already? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Jumping right in.
Yeah. Just dive right in.
So first up, Reckless has a horrible taste in wardrobe. All right. I want to say that.
Yes.
Reckless,
Bath?
I love you. Reckless, I love you. Yeah. So
Robes.
we were so normally the idea was there was some technical difficulties, as a lot of people know. I love Reckless. Reckless is my homeboy now, because we decided to do the interview in bathrobes. So yeah, we were sitting there in bathrobes. It was pretty chill. But wait.
Just to say, in support of the bathrobe, I am in PJs today.
Although I have to say, I was kind of disappointed that you guys didn't interview in bathrobes, and that didn't make it to the video.
Yeah, where's the video at?
Itself.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it next time. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do it again. like, I don't know, a couple months.
Come on. I'm saying false advertisement. I'm calling it right now. False advertisement. I want my money back.
Pixar didn't happen, dang it.
Reckless next time bathrobes and fancy hats. Gonna buy myself
fancy hats.
No, so but to sum it pretty much up, Reckless they posted a video on the Discord, which I just out of a joke, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, jank his chain a little bit. It was like, yo, Reckless, this video is kind of like one-sided and biased and always positive. You should make a video with like everybody that got banned, like Death Proxy, Giga Bear, and all the people that got banned. Sadly, I didn't know that he actually was planning on doing that anyways. and he asked me, hey, if I do this, will you be on it? And I gave him my word, and I'm kind of proud to say that when I give my word, I stick to it. But I did not know that this was actually going to happen. So that's how that happened. So then we decided to do it, and he wanted to know, or the topic was why I myself, more than others, I'm more vocal, I feel, about my frustration when it comes to certain things. And Reckless felt that a lot of people, even till this day, a lot of people that don't know me very well or watched all my content or listened to me when I talk, a lot of people think that I'm really toxic and negative. That I'm like, this is horrible, I hate this so much, I'm only here to be toxic. While Reckless, and I have to give the guy credit for it, he kind of noticed a lot of different things. He noticed, okay, this guy is not toxic, he's just frustrated because of certain reasons. And the video that he made, I hope for a lot of people, clarified a lot of things. I'm still super supportive of Ashes. I even dress up as a warlock to play my role as the local salt guy and nemesis of all white knights. No, white knight nemesis. It was the other way around. And so that's how that video came to be, and I'm really glad I did it. I would do it again, anytime.
Yeah, and that's I guess another clarifying thing, like the white knight thing. It's not necessarily a blanket term that applies to anybody saying things good about the game. It's just the people who don't see the negative, don't talk about the negative, don't acknowledge the negative because everything's sunshine and rainbows, which, let's be honest, we all wish it was. Yeah. We all wish it was all sunshine and rainbows, but in the steps towards loving the game, loving the project, loving what it can be, we do need to at least shine some light on the negative things it can improve.
Right.
I mean, maybe I should clarify this. I worked in the gaming industry. I worked as a marketing manager. So I'm not a developer, but I worked as a community manager and as a marketing manager. I have a little bit of insight. I'm not an expert, but I do have a little bit of insight. And years before that, I tested, games before they came out, beta tested, alpha tested. Wildstar was one of them. And through all the years, I came to a point of view where I strongly believe that developers, they listen to what you say, even though you think they don't listen to what you have to say. And I always felt that if a lot of people are always super positive, because the fans, they're always super positive. They're always super positive. Everything is great. It puts the developer in a spot where they think everything is great, even though sometimes it's not.
Right. And
that's why when after the BR came out and a lot of people said, this is great, this is awesome, this is the best BR ever, I'll be honest, I got a little bit triggered, because even though after they spent a lot of money on promotions, and even after Shroud, one of the biggest, maybe the biggest streamer on the planet, played the BR, numbers still dropped. So there was an issue. So yeah, I called people white knights to... If I hurt anybody's feelings, I'm sorry.
Right. But like on that same topic about you supposedly being toxic, and like if anybody has any doubt about you being anti-Ashes, I followed you today and on Twitter, as we mentioned earlier, and forgot that we weren't following. I think I'm following you on a different account, but yeah. Anyway, we get this message back that's like, hey, I appreciate the follow, and basically everything is awesome.
Yeah, everything is awesome.
But I like that with this response that you tend to give people. It could be like one of those things like when you see somebody following, you just send them a message real quick, you know. But I just thought it was kind of funny because you're like, hey, have you heard of Ashes of Creation? You know,
because I still think that if Ashes comes out, if everything Steven visioned, everything Steven told us, if Ashes does come out, I still think it really can put the genre back to where it used to be.
Right.
Really to a place where it's not just, you know, it's an MMO where everybody just rushes and, you know, everybody get to end game and everybody just grind, where there's a real place for people to enjoy a whole world with this.
What chip?
Whoa.
Oh.
Holy moly.
What chip going crazy?
Wow. Has gifted shared rewards to 25 others in the chat. Well, thank you. And you gifted tier subs. Wow. Thank you. Jeez.
Thank you, sir. Holy mackerel.
I will thank you as many times as it lets me.
I got a pointy Santa. Ha ha. I like it.
Nice. Thank you so much. You're so sweet.
Oh my gosh. Golden Feather got a dreidel.
Yes. With the little face on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, how can you be like, if somebody is anti-Ashes, they wouldn't be trying to get people to join Ashes and be into the Ashes thing. And this is something that Virtek and I've said time and time again, that all of us who have kind of been here from the beginning, with the exceptions of the ones that, you know, sold their accounts after like a year to somebody else because they just didn't want to do it anymore, kind of thing. But like, I feel like a lot of us that have been here from the beginning who have backed it at some level, it doesn't matter what level, but like at some level significant enough to us that we want to see this game succeed. We want to. And part of Virtek and my job is bringing people on, getting your views and opinions. We don't always want, oh yeah, everything's perfect with Ashes, everything's like great. Like, we want to know your personal opinion. And we want to know the community's opinion, and we want to know people that are within that community, like you who have content, you know. And I just started rating really hard.
I feel these days where game development has changed a lot.
Yeah.
It has a real value if you have small content creators like yourself, like me, that don't try to be super big or try to be big, that rather do content where you have honest personal opinions about the project, the game.
Right.
Because you have big content creators, they know what they have to do to get views. They know how to position themselves to be appealing to the developer, to, you know, get access. And yes, that is good. That is, marketing wise, it makes sense. But the small guy is more closer to your end user base.
Yeah.
So listening to them and having them doing what you guys are doing what I'm doing what Jalon does, doing what Sunfrog does, I don't know, everybody that does content right now, those are the people they should listen to. And I feel, you know, this is really worth a lot more than people give you guys credit for.
Appreciate all that. But yeah,
I'm super nice today. I'm super nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's going on? I thought you were a meanie, angry guy. Is this the real BC
Giant? Gosh, I thought he was supposed to be salty.
I thought you were an angry guy. Again, false advertisement.
It's 2:30 a.m.
Oh yeah, we woke him up in the middle of the night just to do this, guys. So thank you so much, by the way. And like,
no problem.
I know you messaged me and you're like, why haven't you invited me? And it's just like, I don't know. And like a lot of people like in the Europe, like, oh, sorry, it's like middle of the night for me. I can't do it. So I just kind of like stopped trying to like.
Can I be honest about that?
Yeah.
So I gotta be honest with you here now. I feel that a lot of content creators, because in the beginning I was on Sim's podcast, for example, but he doesn't talk to me anymore. He doesn't invite me, and I felt that at a certain point, I took the role of the Lord of Salt maybe a little bit too far, because I really stated my frustrations with a lot of things really like vocal, really loud, and hey guys, this is what's up. And I don't know why, but this idea came into my head that a lot of people try to distance themselves from me, because apparently Intrepid, or I feel like Intrepid doesn't like me that much anymore. And I felt that, you know, this might be a thing. Maybe I've taken this too far. Maybe. But then I do my comeback video and I get like 100 different messages from like 100 different people saying, hey, I appreciate what you do. I really feel the same way. I love Ashes, but what's going on currently, I'm not a big fan of. So I'm right now, I'm a little bit confused, but thank you for having me on.
No,
thank
no
you.
problem.
It means a lot to me.
No problem.
Oh, we heart you too. We heart you too. Or less than 3 we less than 3
Less than 3, yeah. But for me, like, this is something that Virtek and I talked about last week, because that was about the same time, or not last week, sorry, last time we streamed, because that was about the same time that Intrepid kind of announced, hey guys, Q3 is now pushed into Q4, you know? And I feel like there's like a very ragey, ranty way to get your point across, and then there's just a very more simmered down, polite discussion about how we view the things. And I feel like there's like, I don't know, not throwing shade at anybody or saying anything rude. I feel like when, as a content creator, there's kind of a right way and wrong way to go about it. As it's like, if you have a child that throws a tantrum, you're not going to want to listen to what they're saying because they're too busy throwing a tantrum. But like, once they calm down and say, hey, I didn't like it when, you're much more what's the word? Willing to listen to them. Yeah, accepting and willing to listen to them. So it kind of like, my thoughts like line up with that thought process of just like, there's a better way of stating your frustrations. Not you particularly, because I haven't actually seen it, but at the same time, I feel like it is our duty as people that not only back this game, but also support this game and have followed it for as long as we have, to announce the frustrations that we're having. Because it's like, as I was trying to get to earlier, Virtek and I just want to I'm tripping over words, goodness gracious, represent wording the community's view. And it's very mixed, but we want to know, like, if you're upset with something, we want to know. We want to know why, we want to know what caused it. And it's important to be able to share that viewpoint. And I feel like if you didn't share that viewpoint, then they would never, right? Words are hard. I feel like if nobody shared their negative viewpoints, there would never be a change for better, right?
I agree with that completely. But I also, because here's the thing. Let's say, to make this more clear, you next to your house is a guy who has a dog.
Okay.
Right? The dog is Ashes of Creation, the game, and the owner of the dog is Intrepid Studio.
Okay.
Intrepid Studio keeps feeding their dog stuff with chocolate, and chocolate is bad for dogs. In the beginning, you're like, hey guy, hey listen, hey buddy, you know I love you, you're my neighbor, I love you to death, but you should not feed your dog chocolate. And he's like, okay, cool. And he keeps doing it day after day after day, and you keep telling him, you should not do this, you should not do this. And you're getting more and more frustrated because now he kind of ignores you, or he doesn't look for a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And I think, at least that's how I feel, a lot of people that been here since, as long as I have, as long as you guys have, we remember how things were a little bit different when it comes to communication between us and Intrepid Studio.
Oh yeah, it's changed a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I feel, and I can only speak now for myself, maybe some people agree with this, and I feel a lot of the frustration keeps growing because we feel like no matter what we say, no matter what's going on, we're not being listened to. And I get saying that goes into the whole thing about the game development, and I get that they develop it in a certain way, and just communicating with us, sharing with us, hey, we're here and here. We don't need to know everything. We don't need to know exactly where you are, but just like, hey, this is going on. We're doing good. The move is done. This might be one of the reasons why we didn't get a letter. Letting us know what's going on, because we had this issue last year where we had these huge droughts of no information. And I think that was the beginning of where people started getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And stuff like that is also one of the reasons that I think Chibi would agree with me on this. Like, we respect and are happy about the fact that there are people like, say, you and Jalan, and even to a slightly smaller extent, like Sim and whatnot, who will bring up the bad stuff more than we do, because we're really like more sunshine people. We're a lot more like, we see the bright side in everything. People
don't come to the dark side.
We'll say stuff like, oh my God, this is all fantastic. But there are these things over here that we need the exact counterbalance, which is the, hey, this is all we're doing really great, but there are these things totally you need to look at.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be that balance where people will recognize that there's good things, but there are also these big glaring things that need to be looked at. And we're kind of the other balance. We're so focused on we're drawn to all the positivity stuff. And then we look at but there's also this negative stuff that we need to look at. For us, that's always the aside.
Yeah.
But when we have...
Sorry. I just really wanted to build on that.
I was gonna say, the finalizing sentence on my view is just that having the counterbalance with folks like you guys is that you're willing to kind of put yourself in the line of fire, so to say, to be like, yeah, there's some great things. I want this to succeed, but there's this giant chart I have here with things that need to be fixed.
So, like, what this reminds me of, and I mean, I definitely agree with you, 100%. In fact, that's very much us. But you have, I feel like in our community, you have a few different types of people. You have the friend that's realistic and sticking to like the realistic side of things, like, okay, I'm glad you're happy about this, but you need to look out for these things. Like, that's the realistic friend. And then you have the friend that's like glasses half full friend who's like, well, yeah, I mean, there's some downsides, but look at all the amazing stuff that's happening. And then you have like just friends that, cause drama for drama's sake. And then you have just like all these different people. But I feel like for a lot of people, like what Virtek just mentioned, you, Jalen, I probably say his name different than like a lot of people, sorry, Jalen, and a few others that do that kind of realistic approach. There's like, it's a balance. We need a balance in the community, in my opinion. I feel like it's important to have the realistic people as well as the like keeping hope people, kind of like Virtek and I, where like, yes, these are things that we are upset about, but we understand because blah, 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 blah. And, like, we try to have a different kind of reasonable thing. Like, not necessarily, like, that we aren't being realistic. We're just trying to stick with, like, the more... Let's give them the benefit of the doubt side of things kind of thing. Yeah. And, like... Which
is... I honestly... I wish... Personally, I could do that. Honestly, I wish I could do that. But it's just, for me, it's just out of character, and I don't talk about this fake Lord of Salt, like, welcome to the dark side. no, it's
that one time we had Bane on our podcast.
Bane Sidious, Darth Bane Sidious.
Yes.
It's just, I've seen too often that games are getting hyped into complete disaster.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few that we can see.
Yeah, like, for example, like, best example is like Bless Online. People are like, oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, this is so super. This is super awesome. Best MMORPG ever. Okay, cool.
And it launched on fire.
Exactly. So I get that a lot of people don't like me, and that is completely fine. But I'd rather be that guy that drags the White Knight on their unicorn Pegasus down back to the ground. Be like, hey, listen, it's okay to be hyped. It's okay to enjoy what's coming out, but also don't forget this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, get some dirt on that armor, just a little bit.
It's healthier for the community. It's healthier for the player base if they have a more centered and grounded view of everything.
Our comments
if they're
are
not over expecting stuff.
What a unicorn Pegasus.
Unicorn
But
Pegasus.
yeah, I mean, and I don't want to call out any names. Like, seriously, I don't want any names mentioned here. But like, at least, I mean, we had spoken about it before. But at least, like, you and some others that we've mentioned aren't taking it to the degree that others have when it comes to the complaints and the like full time. It's like a full-time job to be angry, and they're calling it like, well, we're just calling out the bad things so they can be fixed. No, you're actually just being an ass most of the time, really. Yeah. Like, dial it back about 10 degrees and then you might be at a sensible level. Like, be constructive with it, not destructive. Like, you guys aren't going to that degree, and that's another thing I can respect. You're not like
I've been called
the children, Virtek, the children.
The children.
I had this conversation a while back with somebody, and I've been called because we had a similar conversation where we were talking about me, being frustrated and stating my frustration. And it got to a point where I've been called destructive and toxic. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you see it that way, that's fine. But I see it how I see it. And if people don't like it, then they don't like it. But I'm still gonna do it because I get more positive feedback from Reddit, my YouTube channel or my Discord DMs about what I said in my videos or what I said in the podcast. So that's all the push I need to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, unless you're memes, it's hard to get a lot of positive feedback from Reddit. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
I can give you a list from the forums.
But yeah, I mean, I'm as high opinion as I might have of myself sometimes. I don't know everything, but I can at least say that everything that I've seen of yours doesn't really go like to that too far spectrum of always spouting terrible negativity or anything.
Nah.
Pretty like central as far as I can see. Like central, but like I'm upset. It's like when your dad is depressed or not depressed, but like not happy with something that you did. He's just like, I don't like the fact that you did this. Please don't do it again. Like, that's the level it is for me.
I told this to, was it Reckless or somebody else? I think I told this to Reckless. If I'm ever like really pissed or if I'm getting like toxic, I don't get loud. I don't get like, I get really quiet, and I just, it's weird when I get mad. That
sounds a lot like something my mother used to say. Like, you'll know when our family doesn't like you because we're not making fun of you anymore.
Exactly. There you go. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I had to get used to that one. My family doesn't really do that. So I was like, oh my God, your family hates me. And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay.
We only make fun of the ones we love.
Yeah.
The other people we ignore until they go away.
Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, wait, I wanted to share something. I really liked this thing. So I was going through, where is it? I was going through, Discord. Aw. Virtek, you need to buy Bree pink headphones for Christmas. Aw.
What's the thing? We've been kind of looking for like the perfect pink ones for like 2 years now, and we just can't seem to find like the perfect set. Like it's either like they're really bulky and all the reviews say it's really heavy, or it's not quite the right pink, or they have terrible reviews as far as audio quality, or there's always something that makes them not a good set to buy.
Here is something that I came across, and I absolutely love this, that BC Giant made.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let me fix this. Let me fix this. I accidentally...
You can do it.
I didn't turn on loop, so loop it. There we go.
Loop it. Loop it good.
I like the sandal that's just like spinning and flying through the air. Like, that's a great touch.
The idea behind this was, I started this a couple months ago, and I always feel, since I came back, even before that, I always feel like I'm like heads on fighting, always fighting Intrepid about everything. And I was watching Avengers Endgame at that point. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, I can make this work. I have an idea. So I switched Jeff and Steven. I gave Steven the sword of Jeffrey, and I gave Jeff the sandal. The sandal used to be a shield, but yeah. And Maggie's in the background going all Scarlet Witch on me.
Nice.
I love it. This
fantastic.
is amazing. Like, as somebody who likes Ashes of Creation and Marvel, this is everything I want in a picture right now.
Okay, so you say the top right is Steven, top left is Jeffrey. You got Maggie in the background. Who's the other person in the foreground?
That's Bacon.
I was gonna ask if that was Bacon.
Yeah, I thought about making him like heavier, like he's in real life. But I was like, I gotta make him like the Hulk, like Bacon, Hulk.
Nice. Yeah. Just want to make sure I was seeing the right person there. But yeah, that's great. That's great. Because I know on Twitter you only have like two versions of it. It's like the initial sketch and then the full color. There was not like all the in the middle stuff.
No. All the in the middle stuff is just different layers that I'm just like picture done. And yeah.
Nice.
I really like it. Yeah. Honestly, I thought that was like the battle royale in the
I thought about a different one. Yeah, I thought about one, but I didn't make that one. That one would have gotten me kicked off the Discord.
Oh no.
Because I was thinking about, okay, I want to, like the drawings that I do, I take a long time because I don't do it like, I do it at night before I go to bed, and I just do it a little bit for like a couple of minutes, and that's it. That's why it's always taking me so long. And I thought about making one where you have the same people, Maggie, Steven, Bacon, and Jeffrey, all beat up on the ground.
Oh, no.
And you have like people walking away, and on the back they have these jackets on. On the back it says Fortnite, PUBG, Apex.
Oh jeez.
I didn't end up doing that one. Would have been funny, but I was like, nah, that's too much. Yeah, I'm adding toast to the next one.
Nice.
Needs more toast.
I also did find a meme that I liked. There we go.
Ruh-roh.
I'm sorry for any Tolnar.
I love that one.
Sympathizer. There's one of them.
I don't know. I liked this
one. I know one person who probably hated that one.
Yeah.
I know two. Probably.
Yeah. There's at least a Fushi looking at it going, no. Not just the tall men, the tall women, the tall children. Oh, it's fantastic. But yeah, with along the lines of the comic-y stuff, I'm sure everybody in this chat saw Ash's post on Twitter with the webcomic, aoccomic.com. Oh man, if you haven't, I'm gonna put this little. You know what? I'm gonna start on the trail all the way back to the Twitter post that they put up for Fan Friday. But it actually links out to there was a Voxov something in that. It's VOXOOV. Actually made a post on the forums, and that was the first I'd seen of it, to be honest. And it's about their little webcomic they do. I checked that out. You guys should definitely dig into it. It's really interesting, and there's a lot of comedic relief in there too.
Yeah,
and,
both the main story and the side stories too.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna put a portion of it up onto the screen.
Yeah, the side stories are actually really great. They're all like one-page, quick hit, little like individual items, and that's there is one.
I wish I could draw that well.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of sad that it evaded me this whole time, because I definitely would have been following that since the moment I found it, because there's some good humor in there, there's some good art in there, and I can see the story coming to some interesting points in the future.
Virtek was low-key reading it before our podcast and like kept giggling and then showing me pieces of it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I really like the monster side story one. It's like a single segment or a single page, but
right.
It was a good one. It had a good funny end to it.
He's putting some real work into this.
Yeah.
If that's been going since pre-alpha, as Mackie says in the chat there, then that's been going for a while. So it looks like it's slow progress. So we might be a little bit of time before another page comes out. But
I'm gonna try seeing where this part is. I'm sorry. Like I will immediately turn it off if it's cropped. I can't see it when I'm like cropping it. Okay, there we go. I'm like, I'm just cropping it. I don't know where it's at. If it's graphic, I'm sorry. I will get rid of it immediately. But yeah, this is a small preview of what, you can find of his stuff. So
yeah, it's some good things. You should definitely check it out if you hadn't bumped into it yet. And if you have, definitely bookmark it and go back again. And if nothing else, at least drop some encouragement on the actual post on the forums.
Yes.
Definitely do.
Because I don't think anybody really has like actually posted too many comments on it, but at least drop some encouragement and say, hey, do this more, do this a lot more, like all the more.
Opinion. I'd like you three to give an opinion of the amount of participation that Castle Siege will garner. I don't think it will be a major draw and be another BR with a big hit in the beginning and just dwindled to a trickle shortly after launch.
Oh. Okay.
How about you, BC, first?
Yeah, guess first.
Wait, I'm going into salt mode. For that one.
Hood on equals salt mode. Got it.
Salt mode.
So
engage.
Okay. So here's the thing. I think Castle Sieges will attract some people for some time. Right? A lot of people will play it depending on how polished it is. Will it be a success? No. Will it draw a huge crowd? I don't think so. Because I don't see Sieges or APOC in general in the near future being up to a level where it can compete with other games in the same genre. For example, APOC will not anytime soon be able to compete with games like PUBG, Fortnite. So the siege mode, if you break it down, the siege mode is pretty much a capture point map. From what I understand is that, you have a point that you have to capture to win the siege, yada, yada, yada. And so it goes kind of in the field of, in the area of like Battlefield. And it needs to be at a point where it's so polished that it's really enjoyable, that it's just not a mode where you go in, you win, you lose, and you maybe getting some cosmetics. There needs to be achievements. There needs to be, if you pick, I don't know, a healer class, you need to unlock certain abilities over time. You need to rank up ranks and get abilities. There's so much that needs to be in there, and them always stating it's a testing ground. I just don't see, I wish it would be the next freaking Fortnite, trust me. But it's hard, just going based off what we've seen in the last live stream and going based on what we have right now in APOC. I just don't see them pulling out, I don't know, something out of their bag of what they don't tell us that is so awesome that if we're lucky, we beat the numbers of APOC till now.
Yeah.
If we're lucky. And we sustain 100 to 200 active players. That would be awesome. I would be happy with that.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I see Castle Siege doing better than the BR. I don't see it doing amazingly, only because as BCG was kind of hinting at, it's not going to be a fully polished, like fully enjoyable solo mode of the game. It's going to be testing. It's going to be, hey guys, we've done a little bit of in-house testing with 10 people and we threw some bots at it and it's not going to burn down the server. And that's about the progress they're going to have on it. And now it's going to be, hey, let's see if we can get more than 10 actual people on here doing actual things and trying to break it. And so it's not going to be a feature attraction. It's going to end up being a testing ground feel still. But I think it's going to be more popular than the BR, mainly because it's going to be a little bit more of, it's still going to be PvP, but it's going to be team oriented. And it's going to be different than a BR, which is one of the big things that a lot of people I personally know that didn't enjoy the BR testing didn't like it because it was BR specifically. It's going to have a different feel. There's going to be more class kits, which is going to be a big draw to me. It's going to feel more like a class and less like I just got to find whatever I find in a treasure chest. And if I'm lucky, I'm lucky. And if I'm not, I'm terrible at PvP. So I'm going to be extra terrible versus people who are good at PvP. So I think it'll do better, but still not amazing.
Yeah. Geez. Now for my personal thoughts on this. Okay, so I think because it's not about Battle Royale, it's going to do better. I'm aligning my beliefs with both of you guys, but because also I don't think it's going to be something that other people have really seen too much of. For example, when we say group PvP, we normally see that inside of something like World of Warcraft as far as these things are concerned. And for this to be a standalone out of a video game option for people to be able to opt into, I feel like it'd be a little bit more enjoyable. Granted, they had like the whole squads and the duos and stuff like that, but objective PvP, at least to me, is a lot more fun than individual fight to the death, be the last one standing PvP. It feels like there's actual meaning for a PvP situation. If I'm talking about actual realism when it comes to being in a world, sure, technically we live in a PvP world currently, where you can just kill somebody else if you wanted to, but there are rules and laws against that, which a lot of people follow, right? Because they don't want to get in trouble. But the same thing is the situation in the video game. Like, unless I have reason to kill somebody, I'm not going to. So the BR, where it's like, yeah, just be the last one standing, like try to kill everybody else off and just like be the one to live the longest just because, like, that's why it doesn't really appeal to me. But
there can be only one.
But for me, with the situation, yeah, plus the class kit, so like I feel like with this we are growing closer and closer to the actual MMORPG. Now, I will say one thing. I'm a little depressed because I never made it out to any of the PAX or any of the other conventions that Ashes went out to. And I didn't get to try that really interesting, like, battleground place that they had. That looked really cool. I would like to try that. Like, why can't we have something like... or the intro quest, yeah, like something like that. Like, why can't we have those? Because they looked really good, and I mean... Is there gonna be something like that in the game? Because if not, like, where would that material go? Like, what is the use of that material? Because if we can't try that out when it looked like it was working pretty well back then, I just want to know, is this something that we're gonna be able to do? Because it looked really cool and I want to do it.
And yeah, speaking of stuff like that, like, I just want to toss in real quick that while you were speaking, I just developed a new goal of mine for the game.
Okay.
I want to be one of the first people to get stuck in a building when the town changes from one level to another and it expands and gets bigger buildings. I want to be one of the first people to get stuck in a building when the server makes that change. We're on a building.
What even?
If it builds upwards.
Something that worries me also a little bit. When they bring out sieges, they're probably going to bring out a new battle pass. And I feel you're going to have the siege mode, and everybody's going to have access to there's not going to be a lot of incentive for people to play after they get all the free cosmetics. And that is an issue that the Battle Royale currently also has. And I watch a lot of people talk about this. How can you bring people back to the Battle Royale? Because the Battle Royale for me is not fun. I think the combat is not what it should be, and so on. So they need to really think about a way to incentivize people to play sieges. Make it so, take something from the Battlefield, from the Battlefield playbook. You start out as, I don't know, you start as a sniper, and you have your basic sniper rifle, and then you rank up in rank, and you unlock new weapons with different stuff. But then if they would do that, you would have people getting mad. It's like, oh, they're putting all this time and effort into sieges. What about the battle? What about the MMORPG? They're putting them right now. I feel like they put themselves into a spot where no matter what they do, people won't be happy.
Right.
Which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the one thing I think they could do like right away that would help, if they're not going to have leaderboards built up, which they said there's going to be soon, potentially before the castle siege, et cetera, maybe things potential and such. One thing they could do is how you buy the little pass to unlock the legendary track, right? Mm-hmm. What if they made the legendary track to where it doesn't follow exactly the lower track? So you can buy your levels with the lower track, but the top one goes specifically by earned experience only. And you put the really badass cosmetics up there in that track so that you have to actually play to get those. You can't buy into the top track. It doesn't follow exactly. Yeah,
that would be a way. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but everything they do takes time, resources, and developing, and takes away from the MMORPG. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Like, how do you encourage this without encouraging that, or discouraging that, or taking time away? And
right.
Yeah,
it is what it is. We have to wait and be positive.
I mean, it's that hurry up and wait mentality, like rush to get through stuff, and like it's finally there, we can play it, and now we like wait more, But I like what Woodchip said, and it seems Reckless agrees. Woodchip said, for me, I decided to wait on the outside. I'm guessing there are a lot of people like me. We're waiting for proof of concept. We'll join when we feel we can add opinions for the base game and not a mini game. And that's important, because a lot of us gathered in the first place for the MMO and not for the mini games, but Castle Sieges are going to be in the game, right? Versus the VR.
Yeah, like all these testing things are really, and this is where I'm kind of like one of those like fence sitter type people. Like, I see the benefit behind it, but I'm also kind of disgruntled by it. Like, I see the benefit of needing these test areas. Like, they needed to test out how action combat would work. So they had to have the BR, or something where you could test nothing but just action combat. Either way, even if they dropped like a small little 1 square mile where people could just go and kill each other, and there was no goal, there was no winning, there was no cosmetic gain. You just went in there and did stuff. But they had to do something to give people some incentive at least to do it. Am I happy that it turned out to be a BR? No, not really, because I don't like BRs. But I'm happy that they're at least testing it. Now, they do need to test the castle sieges, because those are going to be happening constantly. Like the PvP castles. And then even outside of that, when an actual like node siege happens, it's going to be basically the same thing. So they need to get that system tested like crazy, because that's going to be a very core component of the entire game. So they needed a way to do that. So, I mean, am I happy it's taking place outside of the MMO? The only reason I am is because we're not spoiling story right now.
You know what I would be really happy with? If they would take, because they have a group of people they pay to test certain things. At least it's what I've been told. I have no way of confirming that, so I don't know if this is true. But if they would also take everybody who was in Alpha 0, give them an NDA, and use them for testing.
Oh, you mean like PI who paid? That's I'm sorry, I'm slightly bitter on that. Like, maybe, but if you have
I don't know how many active people are in PI, but if you take people that are in Alpha 0, which I guess was a couple hundred, and tell them, listen, you can test. Here's the NDA. No visual, no, you cannot talk in detail. You can say if it's fun, if it's, broken, yada, yada, yada. I think that would satisfy a lot of people. That would be like, okay, so now we know that there's a group of people in the community that are testing, that are working hard to giving Intrepid what they need.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just glad that there's somebody out there doing something. Like, even if we're making small steps forward with it, like I just like you said, I want to see progress. I want to see things.
Yeah.
Like connect it to the MMO, get us out there.
Not cosmetics.
But yeah, I mean, it's there. I feel they're necessary evils. Not exactly thrilled that that we're playing a BR to help test, but necessary evil, right? Yeah.
It is what it is.
All right. Well, we are at our 1 hour and 5 minute mark. Only at that 5 minutes because a 5 minute countdown. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. Oh yeah, Mackie, you missed that. Like, we were gonna title the episode "You Know Nothing BCG," but we weren't sure how many people were gonna get the reference.
I mean, I think a lot of people would agree. Like, yeah, he knows nothing.
He knows nothing.
Yeah, I also didn't want it to sound like clickbaity, like, oh, we're gonna like totally dog on BCG.
I use clickbait. Clickbait is the best. I only use clickbait on my stuff.
Only clickbait. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to also reference earlier when you were talking about big streamers versus little streamers. Now, big streamers know how to make money. I was like, yeah, they have more time to do things like clickbait pictures, to put themselves doing the pictures like right in the middle of the video thumbnail and the
That's funny.
Exactly.
Size matters.
But to end more on a positive matter as well, because again, we're more sunshiny and rainbows people. There was it's actually a really old post. Started back in May. They were doing like the forum bestiary, but there's been a few new ones. Yeah, there's been a few sunshine and rainbows. Oh, there you go. Bright lights. Yeah, there's been some fun and interesting things that have been added in there. One thing that I immediately thought of, Damocles put up Illusory Craven, which looks like the Thunderbird thing that we had just a couple months ago for the cosmetic, combined with the Blue Phoenix that was like one of the, I think the was it the summer fundraiser pet. So it's like the Blue Phoenix in real life, but the illusion is that it's the size of the big giant blue Thunderbird we had for the monthly cosmetic.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he intended, but yeah, I think it's neat that they're doing the bestiary. I pop in every once in a while and take a look, but
this is all like just gathered from the internet. I've been scrolling through it, but
yeah,
it's just people
really
like
cool.
Creating characters and creating creatures and creating their own bestiary.
Thank you so much for the cheer,
Woodchip. You can be my hero, Woodchip.
I might have to do one of these.
Yeah, I wish I were creative enough to really make something super interesting, but I'm gonna have to think on that and find a picture totally non-related and create a character around it. Holy crap!
I love the snow howl, the one that
I got a
Poisons
nutcracker.
has.
And I think he's saluting.
Which?
Stop singing. Okay. No respect. I tell you, I trained for years on this beautiful voice.
So we're gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much, BCG, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Here's another
Thanks for
shout
stopping
out.
by.
Please go give him a
Thank
follow.
everybody for your time.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, please do.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Adios.
Bye.